Hey everyone. So you stay on the internet long enough, you'll meet yahoos who think they know everything. They're smarter than you because they're edgy, and they always take a position opposite to everybody else. It's usually morally gray or just flat out bad. And my buddy mentioned one of these positions people take in passing, and that position is Thanos is right. Respect the fact that people have the right to have their own opinion, but I don't respect all opinions, and this is one I don't respect. And I'll go into that in a moment. But first, a history lesson. Now, Thanos was created in the 70s. I think he appeared in Iron Man 58, 59, something like that. And he is a member of the Eternals. Now, the Eternals, you see them in the movies, but the Eternals broke up, and one half stayed on Earth, and the other half went to the moon of Titan. And the leader of Titans, Eternals, is Mentor, and he is Thanos' father. Now, Thanos, for whatever reason, decided he didn't want to be born, and he'd rather be dead. So, at the first opportunity, he kills his mother. Now, Thanos is in love with death. And if that's not bad enough, death is actually an entity in Marvel Comics. She presents herself to usually other cosmic beings, and she's part of this trifecta with Eternity, Galactus, and her. So she is an actual thing, not just a concept. So because he kills his mother and he does some other naughty things, he gets ejected from Titan, and he's henceforth known as the Mad Titan. So he gathers up an army of misfits, and he goes around the galaxy doing horrible things. And he's usually associated with characters like Marvel's cosmic characters like Adam Warlock and Captain Marvel. Not that Captain Marvel. And his first major things, he tries to destroy the Milky Way galaxy with the soul gems. We'll get to that in a second. And later he tries to destroy the galaxy with the Cosmic Cube. Now, if you know what the Cosmic Cube is, it's the Tesseract dialed up to 11. And if you have it, you can do anything. So he's going to destroy the galaxy, and once again, he's stopped by a number of superheroes, including the Avengers, Spider-Man, The Thing, and Captain Marvel. Not that Captain Marvel. And in the result of this, he is transformed into a statue, and he's dead. So years later, Thanos pitches up again, and he appears in Silver Surfer 50. Now, in this issue, Silver Surfer has an extremely vivid dream, and he goes to the land of the dead, and he sees this horrible figure, and it turns out to be Thanos, and oh my gosh, he's not really dreaming. Now, Death has sent Thanos to do something about this pesky life thing, and she wants him, because he's devoted to her, to do something about why there's so much life in the universe. So in preparation of that, Thanos stares into the Well of Infinity. Now, if you look into the Well of Infinity in the Land of the Dead, it will reveal the universe to you. And it reveals to Thanos that the soul gems were actually part of this supreme being. And the supreme being, who is not God, because God exists in Marvel Universe, but the supreme being decides, I don't want to be a supreme being anymore, and he splits himself up into the soul gems, and it flies throughout the universe, and various people have them. And Thanos realized that the first time he used the soul gems to destroy the Milky Way galaxy, he didn't understand their full power. Now he does. Now he understands, if I get all the gems together, I can do anything. And I'll take care of this thing, and I will destroy half the universe, because that's how much I love death. So there's the Thanos quest. He gets the soul gems, and he now crushes them, the Infinity Gems, and with a snap of his finger, half of life is destroyed. And of course, there's a comic book series about that called Infinity Gauntlet. If you haven't read it, check it out. It's pretty cool. And ultimately, Thanos is defeated, and his old enemy, Adam Warlock, gets the Infinity Gems, and they go on from there. So in the comic books, Thanos becomes less of a villain and more of a guy's like, I'm out for myself. So if I gotta kill 1 million people to get what I want, but he's not, outright doing horrible things unless he just feels like he has to. It is a whole series of him doing this thing. But since that point, he's gone back to his murderous and taking over the universe ways. Now that's the comic book version. The movie version is a little different. He comes from the planet Thanos. Titan. And there, he is presented with planet-wide hunger and lack of resources. As he puts it, there's too many mouths. So he develops the idea of wiping out half the galaxy or half the universe so that the other half can flourish. And he gets these monsters and characters to help him out, and including Gamora, who unwillingly becomes his pawn, and Nebula. And he's searching for the Infinity Stones. Now, the Infinity Stones in this universe are different devices throughout the Marvel comic book universe. Like one is the Tesseract, which I mentioned earlier. It's really the Cosmic Cube. There's another one that's the Casket of Winter, which has appeared in Thor comics. But if you get all these things together, once again, you can do everything. And he makes the point of, like, with a snap of my fingers, I can destroy half the universe. He snaps his finger, half the universe destroyed. And if you've seen Infinity War and Endgame, you know what happens. So, like I said, his whole deal is there's too many people, too many mouths to feed. I should do away with half of them, and the rest of the universe will flourish. This is opposed to the Thanos in the comic book, who is in love with the entity of death, and to win her affection, he destroys half the universe. Okay, so as far as the MCU Thanos, there's no way he's right. And there's three major reasons. One is because why? Why would you do that? If you literally have infinite power, the only thing you can think about is murdering everybody. I mean, you can do anything. And your go-to is kill everybody. And that seems to be an awful waste of that resource. Even if Thanos went into that with, his quest to get the Infinity Gems, once he got them, it seemed like he would have had enough knowledge from the Mind Stone, if nothing else. That's like, I can do anything. I'll make everybody solar power, or I'll make everybody not hungry anymore, or I'll make double the resources, or whatever. But nope, his idea is, I want to murder everyone. So he wants to murder half the universe. That doesn't make any sense. So that's like a flawed logic. The other thing is just right down to numbers. And no matter how you slice it, it doesn't make sense. Now, if Thanos is going to destroy half of life in the universe, that effectively makes the other half that remains the whole. And you're right back where you started from. So that doesn't make any sense. Also, if you destroy half the trees, half the bees, half the other life forms that we don't know about, the ecosystem will collapse. We need the bees to pollen all the trees, and we need the trees to make the oxygen. What impact would that have just on our planet, let alone the entire universe? So that doesn't make any sense. But if you step back and say, oh, no, that's not what he meant. He just meant intelligent life. Okay. So there's half of intelligent life so that they are absorbing or using half of the existing resources, which I assume means animals and plants and all that kind of stuff. Even if that was the case, that half of the universe would keep reproducing and populating. And once again, everyone would be right back where they started from. You would get right back to that situation because eventually the numbers would grow and that would be where we are now. So Thanos, for this plan to work, would have to be constantly snapping his fingers every time he gets to the point where you think there's too many people, and who gets to make that decision? So that doesn't make any sense. And finally, the one that's the most important is the morality of it. Now, there is this thing of, and it bothers me on a fundamental level because it's just amoral and it's just unethical. This idea that, Thanos was brave enough to do the thing nobody else wanted to do. Murder people? I mean, that's not brave. So there's a common, not common, but there's a trope or an idea in science fiction where it's like the question is posed, if you can kill one person to save 1 million, would you? And so eventually this thing comes to, well, how about 10? How about 100? How about 1,000? So you go from being this, out of the box thinker to a mass murderer. And that's part of the thing. The other part is like, who decides who gets killed or not? Now, in Thanos' case, it's just random. But, I mean, how is that even better? And if you're so in love with this, how about the guys who who think that snapping people away are the ones who get snapped away? And the rest of us, logical people, will just go on with our lives. There's just no way you can morally, even if the numbers add up, like the universe is overpopulated, we need to do these things, so the morality of overpopulation and how horrible that is, the only response to that is the equally amoral or horrible thing of murdering an unknown millions, trillions, octillions of people. So none of that makes any sense. Like I said, people, I really believe that people do this thing. They say these things. You can't justify murdering, literally untold people. You would never justify killing one person, but because the number is so big, it's okay. That doesn't make any sense. You can't do that. There's no realm in society that says it's okay to murder a huge number of people for the benefit of the people who are remain. But I really believe people say this because there's this thing about the internet, thanks to anonymity and just, I'm going to say something outrageous to get a response out of people. I truly believe that. And then there's this thing about self-loathing and self-hate that's also very popular on the internet, where people just, humans are bad and humans are this. You see them a lot. I saw one yesterday where there's a puppy and he's desperately trying to apologize to this little boy. And, people are like, humans are so bad. We can only learn from animals. It's like, you idiot. Somebody made that video of a dog apologizing to a human. Dogs don't apologize. They don't care. Their thought is, when are you going to feed me? So there's that. And then there's, especially lately, this whole thing about how bad Americans are. Self-loathing is this thing where it's just that I hate myself, and I don't just hate myself. I hate everybody equally, and we're all bad. So if we're all bad, any solution or anything that happens to us is okay because we're horrible people. And you know what? Screw you. I'm not horrible. I don't go around doing horrible things to people. And if that's what you feel about humanity as a whole, maybe you need to get out of the basement more often and meet people. So yeah, I respect that people have the right to make their own opinion, even if it's the wrong one. And this is a wrong opinion. You cannot justify the mass murder of uncountable numbers of people. So you can say, but I did it for the rest of you. That's just nuts. What do you guys think? I love to hear your comments because this is something that crops up every once in a while. And, I just think is on his face just stupid.